It's sad to see someone who just finished the tech program, ready for the job market, but is so frustrated about getting a job. Here I'll be providing you with tips and tricks that can actually help you algorithmize and increase your chances of getting a tech role in the market. Hi, I'm Schneider, and I'm a software engineer for the last 14 years. I've had the opportunity to train more than 100 people into the tech space, ran businesses, and got one of them acquired so far. I'm actually going to be giving you 8 tips. I'll give you an opportunity to algorithmize your chance of getting a tech role in the tech industry. The first tip of algorithmizing your chances of getting a tech role is by figuring out a tech bootcamp that has a high community and a high review rate of getting a job afterwards. It's important to know this because tech bootcamps are responsible for teaching you specific skills such as data analytics, UI UX, digital marketing, cryptocurrency, cybersecurity, and coding languages such as Python, PHP, or JavaScript, and many other languages that are available for them to actually train you on. Tech bootcamps are affiliated with companies, and these companies are looking for human resource in tech. A few of these companies also create opportunity to invest in these tech bootcamps because of their credibility, their reputation, and also their high quality of learning while training. So when next you're actually looking for a tech bootcamp, it's important to make a research of how you can be able to transition from your learning stage into the job market. The second tip is freelancing. Freelancing gives you an opportunity to upskill some specific part of your skills and find clients who can be able to match these skills. For example, a client might be looking for a front-end developer who is expected to convert a UI UX design into front-end development. And that front-end development has a very huge variable between designing with React.js, Vue.js, or AngularJS. It's expected to actually figure out how best you can be able to empathize the client in order for him to patronize your value. We have a lot of platforms that are responsible for this, and in coming videos I'll be getting to share with you how best you can be able to present yourself in the midst of this class to be patronized, and how you can be able to create great proposals that will make the clients want to patronize you. Stay tuned for those videos. The third tip is continuous showcasing and building of projects. It's important because a lot of people have actually underestimated this to an extent. And I just want to remind you that it's important you keep on building projects as much as possible, even if you don't have a job. You need to actually create the idea of being a creator. And with the idea of being a creator, it gives you an opportunity to showcase them with a certain community and get your feedback from there. Like for example, a lot of people have actually been building replicas of complicated sites and showcasing them on Twitter or WhatsApp, to show them what they've done so far and how best they can be able to improve themselves consistently, because that's one of the ways you can be able to leverage on getting people to know you and know what you can be able to do. A lot of projects are actually available that requires more than one person. So your colleague in your community can recommend you and say, hey guy, I really want you to join me in this project. Would you love to? Why? Because of the fact that you've been able to showcase some amount of work that you've done in the past. They want to use that as a means of bringing you in because they know you can be able to perform. One of the most important things about this tech space is actually trying to build trust amongst people that you can be able to do and deliver projects to an extent. So when you keep on building, when you keep on showcasing your work, it creates in the mind of your community that you've done a lot of things or you've done some things, and this is the area you're focused on, and this is what you can be able to do within the community if you have been given the opportunity to join a job, a project, or whatever the case may be. Enjoy the phase of being a creator, even if you have not been paid to do it, because it creates an opportunity to let people know that you are actually doing something within the space. A lot of people have actually created replicas of complicated sites. A lot of people actually did free plugins for Twitter and they got employed on paid Twitter. A lot of people have built a lot of sites that have actually created or given them a pathway to get the job. And unknowingly, a company can just reach out to you and say, hey, I love what you're doing. Would you like to join us to build this project? Would you like to be a part of this? Would you like to get employed here? Or you can see a lot of recruiters reach out to you and say, I've seen your work. I think you'll be best fit at some certain companies. Hey, let me refer you to this company. Or you can get a lot of referral. You can get a lot of opportunity within the space. So I think it's kind of important for you to keep on building and showcasing your work as much as you can. A lot of people have used platforms using APIs for companies who want to ease their processes as effective as possible. And from there, they got employed into the company. There are some people who have had the opportunity to build plugins for international organizations, and they sold the plugin as much as they want to because it eases the work of their clients and all those stuff. We'll be sharing all those stories in further videos, but it's important you get to understand the power of creating and showcasing your work to a large audience where you can be able, and Twitter is the best place to do that. You can do that in Twitter, you can do it in Product Hunt, you can do it on GitHub. There are a lot of things. You can do it even as much as WhatsApp, in the WhatsApp community or a Telegram community. You can be able to do that. So do not underestimate the power of building and showcasing your work when you have the opportunity to. The next tip is applying as an intern. This is also important because it gives you an opportunity to solidify the basics and be sure that you're on the right track on the tech stack you're actually focused on. This gives you an opportunity to figure out how best you can be able to work in a team. You can get to meet more senior engineers there or junior engineers you can learn from and understand common basic truths that evolves around the company. And that gives you an opportunity of how you can be able to create better team bonding and better team building at other companies where you're going to be employed in your main job. Internship programs actually create opportunity for people to be sure and have that level of confidence when it comes to the aspect of getting their next role. There are a lot of companies, especially startups, that are actually interested in internship program and leverage on that to get most of their activities done. But it's important to figure out how best and how strategic you're going to be in while you're developing or while you're having the autonomy to do whatever you need to do as an intern. You can reach out to your colleagues and ask them if they have any internship program that you can be able to attach yourself to learn better and understand the ideas of how the company evolves. The next tip I would actually like to share with you is volunteering for big companies. I've actually had my own personal experience of how I've worked with the United Nations volunteers for about 6 years, and from there that transitioned me to actually getting a senior role. And it was via the jobs I've actually done there that gave me the opportunity and the confidence to apply for a senior role, and I immediately got a senior role. So when I was actually volunteering, I wasn't paid. I had the opportunity to work with a lot of African countries in Uganda, in Egypt, and a few companies in Asia. I helped them to create websites and also applications for their non-governmental activities that were out there. And I leveraged on those projects to apply for the senior role I applied for, and I actually got the role. If you are trying to volunteer without actually fixing your basic amenities, it will be difficult because I spent money on my internet myself. I spent money on most of the running costs. I was the one that spent that. All I just did was I had a goal, and the goal was to build a lot of projects that I can present in the midst of any recruiter and say, hey, this is what I've done. So it will give me a leverage to get as much offers as possible. The next tip is by helping others and making things as simple as possible for them. And this has actually stemmed in the tech space as creating an open source. There are a lot of people who have actually created open source that have eased the life of developers in their work activities and by helping them get jobs done as fast as possible. So it's kind of important that when you actually have the opportunity to create an open source package that leverages on making things faster for developers, it creates a huge credibility within the space that you've been able to solve their problems wherever it lies to an extent or in that particular issue. Helping others by creating an open source is one of the fastest ways to grow as a developer, and a lot of people have taken advantage over this. I know a colleague of mine, Prosper Otemuyiwa, who has actually built plugins in Laravel, especially PHP Laravel especially for Paystack, and that has actually given me a lot of credibility to build businesses and not just being a freelancer or someone who is just in the space, but also has a huge reputation. And to me, I consider him as a mentor, and that creating opportunities for people by helping them solve their own problems is one of the most important cases of helping others in the space of tech. A lot of people within the community are being reached out to for some certain problems, especially junior developers who are having problems to actually transition in their work activities when it comes to the point of bugs, when it comes to the point of fixing things, when it comes to the point of breaking things at the same time too. So it's kind of important to put yourself in the level of wanting to help when you can help, and also learn while other people are teaching alongside within the space. So you need to figure out how best you can be able to open your mind to learn as much as possible in order to help people, and how you can be able to help yourself by making things simpler for you. And at the same time, once you do that, you put it out there and it becomes easier for all of the people who are actually facing those challenges too. So see the need to help others as much as possible, and it creates a sense of fulfillment inside of you. The next step is teaching others. This is kind of similar to the previous tip, helping others, but I decided to bring it as a new tip. Why? Because I got a new methodology from Dan Cole, and Dan Cole said you should fill, use, and empty.
Fill, empty, use. Fill your mind in the afternoons with things like books, learning, and socialization. Empty your mind in the evening with things like journaling, planning, and meditation. Use your mind in the morning with things like creation, output, and focus. A balance of clarity, productivity, and creativity is the perfect formula for a fulfilling day.
This actually is a very, very dynamic way of trying to apply the idea of teaching others, because you're filling yourself, no matter how small, with what you've known. You're using that to actually build something, and at the same time, while you're building, you are emptying it in the midst of other people. You're emptying it by teaching other people how you've actually done that thing. You do not necessarily need to be a professional before you are able to use the idea of fill, empty, and use. It's kind of important because you leverage on this and it gives you an opportunity to solidify what you've learned so far. It gives you an opportunity to keep on learning more. The 8th tip, which is the last tip, is my most favorite tip because I've been able to leverage on this over the last 5 years of my life. It is building businesses and projects for equity. There are a lot of businesses who do not have capital to take their product to a certain stage where the customers can begin to use them. So they leverage on people who can be able to build these products for equity base or a little stipend, and they build the product. Once this product becomes very, very valuable to customers or users, it actually creates value on their end, and at the same time creates value for the investor to invest in the company. Understanding the fact that investors invest in the shares of the company, your stake being sealed and stamped would create an increase in value of your shares that you own in the company. Most of the times, if you decide to even liquidate your shares, what you will gain from the equity based on your negotiation might actually cover the entire period of you renting out your time. According to Naval, he said it's actually sad for you to be renting out your time and be part of a business for equity. That is one of the ways you can actually be able to build wealth for yourself.
The first thing, if you're going to make money, is that you're not going to get rich renting out your time. Even lawyers and doctors who are charging $300, $400, $500 an hour, they're not getting rich because their lifestyle is slowly ramping up along with their income, and they're not saving enough. They just don't have that ability to retire. So the first thing you have to do is you have to own a piece of a business. You need to have equity, either as an owner, an investor, shareholder, or a brand that you're building that accrues to you to gain your financial freedom.
Your outcome of the shares can sometimes actually outpace your 10-year, 20-year career over time. And it's important to know this because you can also do this while doing a full-time job. I have that experience because currently I have a full-time job, and I also have other equity businesses that I am engaged in at the moment. And it just requires me to just spend 2-3 hours to get the tax done, or an hour to get the tax done. I mustn't spend 24 hours working with them or 40 hours a week. Everything they care about is more about the result rather than just saying, okay, I'm working full-time for the equity business, because they know that most of the things you are doing are on the basis of your own resources. So you are sending your resources as a means of equity or a stipend to them, so as to be able to leverage on getting a better valuation for your stake in future. It's kind of important because a lot of startups are looking for, and you should be conscious about the kind of startups you join. One, on the aspect of the humans you're going to be joining as regarding how much they're going to be able to carry out their own responsibilities on their own end. And two, the legal factor that would actually portray the idea that you actually have a stake in the company. It's very, very important to know this, and you need to be very, very conscious. But meanwhile, understanding the fact that you're just in an equity business doesn't mean that it's guaranteed that this business will succeed, and at the same time, you would actually get your stake out of the company. Most of the times, this business is failed, and it's important to actually strategically analyze the company and figure out the passion of the company that will create that value so far while you're actually building with them. I have actually had experiences building businesses myself and also being part of equity businesses that have failed about 8 of them, but I'm still building, I'm still creating. I understand the power of being a creator, and I'm leveraging on that right now to create as many things and many opportunities for myself so far as at now. Whenever you have an opportunity for equity stake, you should understand how much the stress goes while trying to do an equity stake. If it doesn't stress you that much and it doesn't require you to spend too many hours trying to solve their problem, why not jump into it? And also, if it's someone who has a good reputation in the market, same too, you can also jump into it too alongside, because you know that in the long run you're going to be creating value. You can leverage on the project you've worked on as a history to all the jobs you've done, and use that to portray getting a job for yourself, because that's the goal of why you are actually in this video. So if you're interested in equity businesses and you would like to actually spend some little time that doesn't stress you too much to build the products of other businesses for a stake, you can actually go ahead and fill the link called Equity Businesses, and we'll have the opportunity to attend to you, to pair you up with people, collaborators who are ready to build products, and startups who are also ready to leverage on your resources to build products. One of the most important things I want you to get out of this video is, 1, you need to be seen and be heard. And number 2, you need to figure out how to use people's capacity to get to where you want to get to. Those are the 2 major things I want you to pick from these 8 tips, because you're leveraging on this. For example, Heroku closed down November 24th of this year, and most of my sites were hosted there and they were shut down. At the moment right now, if someone asks me, hey, can I see the things you've done? And because of the stress of deployment on the other platforms, I will not be able to showcase anything. So I leverage on other people's ability to post the projects I've done as a leverage to show human resource people that this is what I've done so far. And you can use equity businesses to do that, your internship program to do that, your volunteering programs to do that, building products, open source, and trying to build as many projects as possible and showcasing it. With these 8 tips, I know you've been able to actually gain a lot of things from this video. But those who have actually gotten a job, I would actually want you to share your hints in the comment section below of how you've been able to get jobs, more tips and tricks. I will be able to get to share and discuss them on further videos so far. And also, I'll make sure that you get to be acknowledged for sharing your comments. I have an open channel to communicate at the various social media channels on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Please don't forget to click the like button and also comment in the comment section below. If you really enjoyed this video, please do not fail to subscribe and click the notification bells for more videos. Thank you so much.